Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. All right, we just got finished watching the WWE Backlash pay-per-view, and an easy 2-hour and 45-minute show, 5 matches. And what'd you think overall?
You know, what's funny is when the first 2 matches were over, I thought, like, man, this is a freaking great show. I really liked I think both of the first 2 matches, but Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, to me, I just thought Lyra Valkyria had like the best match of her life. It was awesome. And the first match was really good. All 4 guys were strong. And then after that, not as much. You know, I mean, like the main event was every cliche in the world. It was fine. It had a lot of heat. They had a great crowd. I will say that. You know, it was like the crowd, like a lot of times you'll have loud WWE crowds, but they're, you know, like they're only, like the TV crowds are so much into the interviews and not really much into the matches until the very end. You know, once they start hitting all the big moves, then they'll get into it. And in a sense, in this one, in a lot of the matches, they started hitting the big moves right away, and it was nothing but big moves. So, you know, that worked. But they were into every match, you know, in every match had really strong heat. You know, sometimes like the European shows are loud, but they're into themselves. You know what I mean? It's like, they're not really reacting to the match. They're just singing and stuff. This one, like, they were into the moves. They were into the matches. The matches worked for what they were. You know, I mean, it's as far as like getting the fans going, the matches worked. I mean, it's very Arena Mexico like, honestly, as far as crowd reactions. You know, so that was a plus. But the first 2 matches, I thought the wrestling was excellent. The wrestling was excellent in the first 2 matches, and then you know, Gunther and McAfee was, I guess, kind of what it should have been in a lot of ways. I thought Michael Cole, I guess, you know, him getting carried away was what they wanted, and the fans were into it and everything. And I think McAfee, for the role that he was put in, I mean, he did a great job, all things considered, but kind of also looked kind of like, I don't know, kind of low rent in other ways, you know, in there. Like it's like, you know, they didn't want to put him over as an equal, so he got slapped around, and then he did the big comeback and everything, and that all worked. But there were just points in the match where it kind of like, I thought it felt a little low rent. Main event was, I guess the main event, what I would say is it's all, you know, all gimmick, you know what I mean? Referee bumps, and all they did was hit their finishes back and forth over and over. And, you know, it's like, it was every WWE thing alive. Michael Cole, like, you know, every freaking near fall, it's like he gives away that it's not going to be the finish, you know what I mean? Which I know is what Vince taught him, and he always does it and everything like that. And it's just like, you know, I mean, I knew it wasn't the finish, you know, when Cena hit the AA and he just goes for the pin, and you know that means it's going to kick out and everything. Like, which is good because the live crowd didn't have to hear it and everything, so they didn't, you know, it doesn't ruin it for them. But, man, I wish they would just quit doing that, because he just gives it away. He never says it when it's the real pin. He always says it when it's the fake pin. So, you know, when he starts saying it before the count, it's like, okay, guy's going to kick out, which, you know, he did. Then we had 2 referee bumps and everything like that. And, you know, like for a John Cena match in 2025, it was as good as it could be. And, you know, Randy Orton paced it well, and they went like almost 30 minutes. Very slow, you know, obviously, especially early. But it worked. You know, it worked for what they were trying to do. And, you know, Dom and Penta, you know, nice, fun 9.5-minute match, you know. So, I mean, overall, and it's kind of like based on what you want out of the main event. You know, if you wanted like, you know, a main event without a bunch of referee bumps and you know, giving away all the near falls and everything like that, maybe not the best. If you're just into the idea of, you know, a match getting a lot of heat and you're just like enamored by the superstar status of Cena and Orton against each other, then you may have loved it. I don't know. But the first 2 matches I thought, you know, really, really strong. And third match was, you know, fun, you know, for what it was. You know, a lot of interference. You know, too much. I would say too much interference. You know, it became like the interference show. I mean, like pretty much except for Becky Lynch, every match had interference because Michael Cole interfered even in the Gunther match. You know, so you know, I mean, Cena and Orton, it wasn't so much interference. It was just referee bump, you know. So very cliched finishes and everything. So I think, I mean, it was like just for a 3-hour or 2.5-hour show. It was entertaining the whole time. So, I mean, I guess that makes it a good show.
If you love this show, you should consider signing up at WrestlingObserver.com. WrestlingObserver.com has every show that we have ever done. Over 15,000 podcasts in the archives, dating back to 2005. Searchable by show, searchable by year. Perhaps the first show you ever watched was 2008 WrestleMania? Well, you can head into the archives and you can find the podcast we did, all built around the 2008 WrestleMania. Every major show, whether it be WWE, AEW, we covered it all. 15,000 archived shows at WrestlingObserver.com. Also, when you subscribe, you get full access to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. There's a new Observer every Friday. And on top of that, we have thousands and thousands of archived issues of the Observer dating back to 1991. So again, WrestleMania 2008, go to the archives, search WrestleMania 2008, read all of the issues surrounding that show. Of course, Wrestling Observer newsletter, 40,000 words of news and information on pro wrestling and mixed martial arts every single week. New issue comes out every Friday. New back issue comes out every Monday. You also get the discussion board. One of the best discussion boards on the internet. It's members only. If you're going to troll, well, you got to pay to troll, and there aren't too many of those. And if you cause too much trouble, you're out of there. So if you want a great place to discuss professional wrestling, it is the board. Also available as a subscriber at WrestlingObserver.com. The whole package, all of the new shows, all of the archived shows, all of the new issues of the Observer, all of the archived editions of the newsletter, all of the past episodes of Wrestling Observer Radio, Wrestling Observer Live, The Brian and Vinny Show, Figure 4 Daily, Filthy 4 Daily, The Board, all of it, just $14.99 per month. The full shebang, and you can save a lot of money getting an annual subscription. A full year, you basically get 2 months free. So check it out, WrestlingObserver.com, everything you'll ever need as a fan of professional wrestling. Check it out today, F4WOnline.com.